Welcome to SSAID. This session we're going to go over home delivered meals, the home delivered meals process. Let's sign on here. Into a demo site. We're on the administrative page here, the front home page. And the first thing we're going to do on our home delivered meals is like every other client that we have to have a client database. We have to have a client. We have to set a client up as a home delivered meals service. We need to set a service up for them. And if you notice now over here in the dashboard, we've got 160 clients that are active home delivered meals clients. And if we click that number, we can bring up a client. We can go into the record here, and it shows their menu and their date of what day they get their weekend meals and their funding and everything else. So let's go back into the beginning of home delivered meals here, and let's create a new client from the beginning, and we'll set them up on home delivered meals, and we'll go through the entire process. Okay, save the record. Again, with the SSAID, you have to have a client record, and with that client record, you can assign any services that you want to that client. Many services. They can be home delivered meals, they can be transportation, they can be congregate, they can be recreation. But the most important part here is the mandatory field is the birth date. That's the only field that we require that you enter. And if you don't enter a field, we will default it to 0101 at 1900. You can always change it later. As we're in here, as we're adding a new client record, again, we'll go over like we do everything else. If you use a barcoded card scanner, you put in a barcode here, their number, you assign their number. If there are many branches to your senior center, you can assign each branch. If they have a different mailing address, you can put that here. We can track their cell phone. They have a fax number. If it's confidential, they don't want to see their name on any media paper or anything public. You can click this button, and we make sure we don't publish in their newsletter. If you don't want to see them in any social media, this client doesn't want to be their picture. This is one way of tracking it. We track the last 4 digits of Social Security number, their county, township, community they live in, their race, and every drop-down box, as before, you can assign that within your own senior center under the menu option called Items. If they donate, you can click this box. If their status of their marriage, their spouse's name, again, their status. We're trying to get every demographics we can for the client. Someone lives with them, they have animals. We have some senior centers that deliver animal food. Besides their food, they also deliver the food for their animals. How many people's in their house that live in there, their income, if they have an aid, if they are an aid or provider, comments, if they have a special type of funding here, we can put that in here. If they're handicapped, what kind of handicap are they using? Are they using a walker, oxygen, scooter? This field deceased, whenever your client has deceased, we put a date in here. This date will make all the records inactive, and we want to keep track of that client, so that's this field here. The SAM ID numbers for your billing for SAMs. I'm going to hit save, and we can go to the next page also, and under contacts, you can contact their next of kin, their doctors, their hospital, whatever you would like to track. So right now we just added a new client, and we're going to make that client a home delivered meals client. So I'm going to go right into services again. We'll click services. These are the services I can add to this client, and we're going to add home delivered meals to this client today. The home delivered meals record comes up with today's date or any date you want they start. They're active. This can be changed, of course. They're inactive, suspended. If they quit taking meals from your senior center, you can put a stop date in here and they won't show up no more on your kitchen list. Their status right now, if they're deceased, enrolled, they moved, whatever. Right now, it's being provided since they're active. Um, the weekend meals delivered on. You can have whatever day of the week that you want delivered their weekend meals. If they get weekend meals, this client will have Friday. We have route groups, which in each route group you assign yourself, and you can have assign a route ID and a delivery sequence, the order in which the driver delivers the meals. And I'll show you how to add this into the existing sequence numbers when we get through adding this. Some clients have assessment dates. You have to go out and get their assessments. Um, this example here under this shaded box is if your clients get a client choice where you send out a monthly menu, and they have an option of what meals they want to pick from. On this example, we're not going to go that route. We're just going to do home delivered meals for the same type of meal every day. They don't have an option. This is the schedule. Here again, here's the diet drinks, what they have, what kind of, if they're on a diet, you can assign these. There's different types of diets. If they're disabled, the kind of milks or the drinks they have, the quantity. If they have a side item, you can add that, and what kind of funding you can assign them also. They get their meals weekly. We have some clients that send their meals out bi-weekly, 7 meals a week if you'd like. This means weekly every day. If they have a case manager, you can assign them a case manager. If it's a private pay, you can assign the amount there. You can add directions here and special requirements. They don't eat salt or something here if you like. If they become suspended where they're going to hospital or whatever, you would go in here and you would suspend a period that they would be suspended. And it would automatically stop them from getting a meal for that time frame. And then the date that you put on there, whether they come back unsuspended or if they come out of their hospital, they will show back up on the kitchen list. For now, let me save this record. We just added a home delivered meals record for this client. Now, right now, we have nothing here in the schedule, so let's go to the schedule here, the meal scheduler, and let's assign their meals. I'm going to say they get a hot meal every day, and on Friday, they get 2 cold meals for the weekend. And I'm going to save this. And right now, we've got it set up where you get hot, cold, frozen, and liquid meals for 7 days. You can put any quantity you want in here. So let me go back to the home delivered meals service here. Now you can see the schedule here. We've got this a separate page, this schedule, because we had some senior centers kept messing it up. So we thought, let's just make it separate. You have to do an extra step to make that, create that. Now that we've got this, we need to know what delivery sequence we need to add this client into this route and route ID. So what you can do, you can come here into the delivery order, and you can see this is the route, and it shows the sequence number over here that they're in. If I want to add, this is the new client, I added 0. I'm going to make him, say 14. I'm going to put him in the middle here. I will submit that. And it will bring him down. Let me resequence it. Resequence it by 5. Let me save here. Okay, they started at a 5. You can resequence the numbers by 5, 10, or 1. At the beginning, before we came here, you can go back to the record. You can put a number in here and it will throw it in there, the delivery sequence. Okay, let's go to the delivery order, and it will save it. You can always change it also. You can add it into any sequence you want here. We try to make it easy where you can always add sequence numbers. When you add new clients, you can always resequence them. And this would be the order in which the driver delivers the meals. So it makes it real easy. Instead, you have to go in there and recalculate every sequence number. It does it for you automatically. And when you print the route sheets off, it's in sequence. So this is the record for the home delivered meals. Now that we've got it set up, this person is active, can now start receiving meals also. We also have a directions. You can click here, and it will give you the map to get to their house. Since this is test data, who knows where this is going. So let me go back. So right now we went in and we created a new client. And that new client, we assigned them a service called home delivered meals. So now they're ready to receive home delivered meals. Now that we got the client set up, now we go to the daily process, which is down here in the service menu. Um, so for today, let's go to home delivered meals. First thing you do is create a kitchen list. Let me delete this record here. Start fresh. Okay, so we're going to go in here and for the 9th, say for the 9th of July, I'm going to pick the dates. I'm going to pick this date, create kitchen list for this date. You can have multiple days here if you want. It's going to bring in a kitchen, going to create a kitchen list. Every active client that is on the home delivered meals as an active client gets a meal will show up on this list. Okay, and as you can see, this is bringing in everybody for this new kitchen list. Now that the kitchen list created, the kitchen list will get a report telling them to create so many hot meals, so many cold meals, and for what route they're going to, and route ID. Okay. This happens every day or the night before. We'll print this list off. The kitchen will create these meals, give this report to the kitchen. They'll pack all these meals up ready to go for the drivers. Okay. You can add to that. There's a thing called frozen packs. If you use frozen packs, we can get in that later. But right now, this is just a kitchen list. The kitchen creates these meals, and it looks at how many meals per route ID. Okay, and you can see the number of cold, hot, frozen, total numbers, their diet, their beverage, everything here, the grand total for the kitchen list for this date. So once this is created, the drivers come in, and we'll create the delivery list. We're going to move this list down to the delivery list. Now that this is ready to go, the kitchen's created the list. They've got the meals packed up. We create a delivery list. Now down here, this delivery list is ready for the drivers. From here, we're going to print the route sheets. We click route sheets. And this comes back with the route sheets for the drivers. And if you noticed, it has the route group. You can actually look at the map if you want to click that. The signature of the driver once he delivers the meal, the time he departed. This is the delivery sequence that we just added this record. He gets one hot meal, and he gets 2% milk. If it's delivered, not delivered, delivery time. And this goes down, and if you notice that this is for the route sheets for the drivers, for this route, it lists every client that gets a meal for this date in this delivery sequence, and the date, the sequence they should be delivered. Then at the end of the report, it shows a total how many meals they should have in their van, and drinks, etc., etc. Then the next route group, route ID shows for the next driver to just. And if you notice on the delivery instructions, we also have, the narrative, like I said, the comments and directions. They show up on the route sheets. So this is the route sheets for the drivers. Once the drivers deliver the meals, they'll bring back the sheets to the administrator. And if there's any changes, the administrator will go in there and modify it. They'll go in there and edit, say this person wasn't home. We'll bring this route sheet up and we'll say, okay, they were a no-show. You can put some comments here. All meals were canceled for this client, or just a current one. So you would update that. So that way you're not billing them for that meal that you never delivered. You also keep track of how many times you can cancel. If someone is not at home every time you deliver a meal, we keep track of that, and you can always send them a letter. The system tracks that. After 4 times, they get a letter or a warning saying, hey, we delivered 4 times to your house, and you weren't home. We're going to start charging you. We do things like that where it keeps track of how many times they were no-shows. We have reports, no-show reports. So right now, the meals have been created. The kitchen created the meals. We delivered the meals, the route sheets to driver. When the driver comes back after delivering the meals, whatever edits they've made, we now post the delivery list. We post it to history. So now it's posted and it's billable. We're done for the whole day. That's the whole cycle. We create the kitchen list, we print the pack sheets for the drivers. Drivers come in, we create the route sheets. They load up their vans, they deliver the meals, they come back, we edit them, and then we post it. Okay, that's the whole entire cycle for the home delivery meals. There's some other function here for home delivery meals. So you have holiday meals, emergency meals, and shelf-stable meals. This allows you to add, if there's a hurricane or a snow blizzard, you can add an additional holiday meal. Whoever gets a meal, an active client for that day, you can click holiday meals or emergency meals. It will include that into their regular delivery. It'll add an extra meal to this person's route sheet for the drivers to deliver. So right now we went through creating the meal, creating the client, creating a home delivery meals client, going through the daily cycle, creating a kitchen list. From the kitchen list, we look at the reports, what meals are being created in the kitchen. The kitchen now has got them packed up and ready to go to deliver the route sheets to the drivers. The drivers delivers the meals, they come back and they post it, and we're complete. Now from here you can go to reports under home delivery meals, and here's that cancel history summary, how many people canceled their meals. You can keep track of that. There's many reports. You can look at anything you want to here. Total meals per each client. It just goes on. I would get familiar with all the reports. Again, if there's not a report that satisfies your senior center, we can always customize you a report at no charge. So after the reports are out there, we can also go to billing now that we've done our daily cycle. And there's different ways to look at the billing right now, the way we got it summarized. Okay, here's an idea. This will show you the person, how many meals they've received, how many they're allowed to receive, how many we've delivered. Again, this is test data, so to give you some idea, this is the person we added a minute ago. So the billing, again, is in a format. You let us know what you need it as, and we can get that to you. We have different types of billing that we can show you. I would just get familiar with the reports and the billing that we have out there right now. So right now, that's a summary of all the process of the home delivery meals. Again, I'll review one more time. We create a client. We create a service for that client. Over here, they're a home delivery meals client. We create this record, their schedule, the route ID, the route groups, when they get their weekend meals. And once that's created, we go into the daily cycle, the service menu. And what happens here is we create a kitchen list. From the kitchen list, we create the kitchen list for the kitchen to create the meals. We now move it down to delivery list. It's ready to be printed out for the route sheets for the drivers to deliver the meals. They come back, they bring the meals in. We post it to history. Now it's billable, and we can look at all the reports for what we've done. And this cycle continues every day. That's pretty much the process for home delivered meals. There's items, I've told you before, under items. You can change anything you want depending on your senior center. You can add different types of meals. That wasn't a good example. But you can add different types of dietary meals. Whatever you'd like to change. You add new route IDs, new route groups. You can add those yourself right here. If there's not where you can change what you've got. Beverages, again, it's whatever's a drop-down box, you can change it. Again, if there's any questions, please let us know. But that's pretty much the home delivery meals process in a nutshell.